Game number 1 between the Viper and Yo in this best of 5 in the winner's side of the bracket for the Garrison. We are on Golden Lakes, which we haven't seen yet in the tournament. Lakes in the corners, just like you would have on Cross. In the middle, you have a pit like you would have on Golden Pit. So almost like a combination of two different maps here. And it's actually a little bit more closed, I would say, than standard Crosses. The woodlines feel like they're a little bit closer to the player's starting area because, you know, you don't have any woodlines in the middle, so I guess they all get pushed towards the outside, towards the players. Looks fairly similar for both players. Gold's a little bit exposed here for Yo. I guess you have less gold here, like you would on Golden Pit versus on Standard Cross. I haven't really seen this map played all that much. I don't think it's in the basic map pool in the game. The standard map pool. Both players get their docks pretty quickly. Yo should have his fishing ships out very, very quickly as well. Because he's Persians and Japanese. I guess saving some wood on the lumber camp. Get those fishing ships out quickly as well. Yeah. Pretty standard start from both players. Let's make sure I'm caught up. Yeah, caught up to lifetime. Sweet. I think opening for both players will be scouts. Just for some general map control, but I don't think there's going to be heavy investment in feudalage play. I don't even know if you... That being said, you do need to get to the middle fairly quickly to get access to gold. Both players getting loom now. Viper the first one up with Persians. Extra food you start with makes that a little bit easier. Viper doesn't see his extra gold. Is he going to keep pushing deer? It seems unnecessary. He's mostly moving his villages over to wood now. I feel like scouting on a map like Cross is so important. But maybe he understands Yo's playstyle. Meanwhile, Yo also just pushing in deer also maybe sees the score. Sees that they're neck and neck, that Yo's not scouting, so he feels like he doesn't need to either. Yo going for that second lumber camp. Viper deciding not to. Just sticking with the one. And Viper sending a Vil forward. I think that's too... Oh, it's just barracks. I was going to say, if he was going to dock Yo's pond, I think he would have gone around here. Are quite a few tigers protecting random places on the map. And what is this villager going to do for Viper? Second dock at home, maybe? In the same pond? Or maybe wall off this section of the map. If he pulled this house back a tile, he would be able to wall that intersection. I guess he can just add a palisade. Yeah, that's what he's planning on. And for Yo, also a barracks. Viper scouts that. Is he going to be able to delay it? He's up. He could take some hits. Yeah, he can delay this barracks. It's not a bad move. Definitely respecting Mr. Yo. And stable. Okay. I was right. Or no, it's archery range for Mr. Yo with Japanese. Interesting. I think archers give you a little bit more momentum going into Castle Age where you're trying to contest this middle area. Also, Yo's extra gold is quite far away. I feel like Vipers might be a little bit closer. I don't know if that's significant or not. So mainly Yo is just stuck with this gold that's right in front, or right on the front of his map. I guess Vipers is as well. He's just done a decent job walling it, and he had this extra little mini wood line to help protect that area. 4 fishing ships for Yo, but still producing, of course. And the player moving out to the additional docks that Yo is scouting, just in case. I guess it's just confirming where Viper's fish is. Unless Viper did that Jordan strategy of going across the map to drop a dock, and then, you know, you surprise your opponent. And Yo walling off. He's going to get the quick wall. Be surprised. You know, he's just going to run to the spear. And Viper should pull back, yeah. He knows the importance of scouting. So just takes a Vil down to half HP. More or less for free. And Viper walling to make sure his fishboom is safe. I've heard Viper yell so many times when his teammate doesn't wall in. Or help him keep his fishboom safe. Viper's, I mean, so far looking better. It's hard to really tell at the moment. how good his overall preparedness is. He already has a range and a scrim on the way to deal with the archers from Mr. Yo. And he's really avoided all damage at the moment. Has a scout over here as well. Maybe that's just to catch any villager that comes out for Mr. Yo's second dock. Hard for me to tell. But scout skirm's coming across the middle. And I think having Viper already on skirm makes CA a little bit more difficult for a Japanese player. And it is a significant part of the Civ advantage, is to be able to go on CA. Viper with a little miss micro there for a moment. Really doing a good job, though, closing off the rest of the map. I think his map will be fully closed. Trying to bait the archer fire. Yo's not falling for it. And now Viper going out for a dock over here. Sorry, not MBL. Yo still has a scout over here, though. I think he's safe. Ooh. Viper's lost sight of the archers and the spear. Everyone's just working out for Viper. He sees the archers and the spear. Yo's scout runs away right as Viper's Ville arrives, so Viper will be able to get that dock up once he has the wood. Unless Yo, for some reason, decide to come over here, but I think it's very unlikely. He's just trying to track Viper's army. Just trying to track each other. Viper will see that there's still a tiger here and know that the archers didn't go by. So he's going to move up forward, and now he sees Yo's army, pulls back, intercept. Should be able to take that out now that he has fletching. Doesn't even need the scouts. Scouts are just there to trap Yo's army. And Yo's still walling up. He wants to wall out. Well, I guess wall in this part of his fish. And he is the first one up to Imp. Or sorry, Castle Age. Imp. That would be crazy. First one up to Castle since he hasn't invested as much into the water. And he actually has more res collected. I guess it's those Japanese fish that collect fish faster. Already on fish traps too. That's nice to see. I guess he's doing that while he still has the attention span because he knows things in Castle Age might get crazy. And Viper going out to another pond. Definitely a pond is a cheaper way of doing things. So I approve of that. And it looks like the archers and spears will be cut off now. Viper's on top of it, but is later to Castle Age by a somewhat significant margin. Skirms don't even want to finish off that spear, it looks like. They just want to try to find some pressure, and it is going to be CA from the looks of it. Bloodlines coming in, archer defense coming in for Mr. Yo. And has walled off his pond. Viper using an archer to come over here and check if Mr. Yo had anything there. But no, Mr. Yo's seems to be very happy to have one pond and just full map control with CA. And Viper clicking up when Mr. Yo is already up. That's very, very delayed. We saw that somewhat with Tato yesterday. But Tato and Viper are kind of quite different in playstyle. What's Viper's gonna do after this? He's getting bloodlines himself and armor for skirms, so I think he expects the CA. I mean, he sees it now. A knight as well, though the knight's kind of trapped inside unless he wants to let Viper in his base. I expect Viper might just go skirms and boom. I guess it'll be skirm knight boom. Viper's gonna go in. Viper's absolutely gonna try to go in. Yeah, there he goes. Cav archers might just sit in the choke point though. Yeah, they both know what's up. They're both on top of it. If I figured it out, you know for sure that these players have figured it out. Not saying I'm stupid, but you know, they're a lot smarter. They have way more experience in this game. And Gilnut's coming in for Mr. Yo. Still just 2 ranges. Viper at home. Just 1 stable and 1 range. I mean, both have to contest map control to be able to access the middle at some point. Viper closing off, or thinking about closing off the area behind the gate, just to make sure it's safe. And Viper has 3 pawns. Mr. Yo only has 1. Those are still Japanese fish that are going to be on those fish traps, collecting a lot of resources. Viper, yeah, still behind resources collected. We'll get a TC up, I imagine. Scouts can clean up the cab archer who gets stuck there. Unfortunate for Mr. Yo. And then the knight can just be run away from. Or you could take the fight with archers, I guess. Keeping the weak scout alive. Allowing Lightcap to come in. Husbandry next. And Yo's just making vills, more fishing ships. And thinking about ballistics. Cancel the fishing ships so we can get ballistics out. Gold mining upgrade. Giving Viper three pawns is a little bit questionable. Viper also getting Gilnath himself. Like, Viper does not need to make any farms. He has, just to get up to the next stage. But I'm thinking Viper's going to add another TC back here. Just stay contained. But what is his Viper's composition going to be with all this eco? Because he is going to be out of gold. He walled out his other gold. Like, if he could take the time to quick wall this and get another TC over here, I think he'd be a little bit safer. But he's sticking to the middle. And Yo's taking the map initiative now that he has map control to get this TC up in the middle. So he can keep pumping out more gold units. Eventually, Viper might just be on Light Cav and Skirm with all of his eco. But he's not getting like a significant advantage over Yo. He does have the score lead, but a lot of that's just fish. That's just water. Is ballistics in? It is not. Yo has had to invest in a lot of other things. Clearly trying to get this fish boom started. Dropping more docks. Not even contesting water. I guess he thinks that contesting water is just a distraction from microing his CA, which take a lot of his attention. And trying to kill Persian docks is so difficult that it's not worth his time. So he'd rather just boom where he can. And force Viper to react. Viper... Okay, canceling the fishing ships or maybe just dropping off wood so that he can get ballistics, getting elite skirm. Making sure that his fish are not under the dock so they don't get sniped. Oh, Monks almost got sniped. Viper was quick on the draw there, teleporting them into the town center. And Knights might get stopped. No, do get out from behind the wall. And now the Skirm army is going forward along with the Light Cavs. Viper's gold is just going into Monks for the moment. And forward siege by Mr. Yo seems a little overambitious with how many Light Cav there are on the field. But no armor on the Light Cav for the moment. Viper's mainly just investing into these skirms. And can probably get some kills on these Cav archers. Knights are enough there to clean this up, but in terms of overall trade of units, I don't know if Knights are enough to clear this up, actually. Okay, they are. Mr. Yosh, I think, just pulled back those Cav archers earlier. Now the siege workshop makes sense, but he can't get it up. Knight has to be deleted, and I think that was a better fight for Mr. the Viper. He's still behind in villagers. Is that TC idle time? No. Is that just getting his TCs up later because he was like 3 villages worth later to Castle Age? It might be. That Castle Age timing might have just been what's hurting him the most. 19 fishing ships versus 26 for Mr. Yo. Okay, that's it as well. Those Japanese fish are bringing in food so quickly. Is Yo thinking about castle? I think so. Viper's gonna drop some siege. And it might be too late. I mean, he could go for ramp push. Viper realizing that his strategy isn't working out as well as he thought it might. That's crazy that Japanese can just have one pond. And even in the investment of fish traps isn't enough to make this. I mean, I guess Viper's also floating a lot of wood and he doesn't have anything to use it on. Maybe he should have been making more fish. Viper's trying to go Scorps to deal with the Cav archers. But he's down to 4 military. Mr. Yo, I think, is going to be the first one up to him. He has his buildings, right? Yeah, because Siege Workshop's on the front, second building. Viper's forced to defend with more and more walls. Monks there to start the conversion against the Knights. Gets one and gets two. And Scorpion somehow staying alive for now. And yeah, Mr. Yo, first one up to Imp. I think it's just going to be Cav Archers and Knights for him. Even has a ram out to try to push Viper's walls. Keep the focus at Viper's base. It's crazy that our Japanese player has outboomed the Persian player. Part of that is just Mr. Yo getting up faster. Viper may be making too many skirms. Overreacting to Yo's pressure. Viper trying to bring relics in. Going to be unsuccessful there. Is able to get out to this gold though, because Yo's pushing the other side of his base. And Mr. Yo's in. Viper, in response, is up to Imp. But, oh my goodness. Forward castle. Was Persian's Viper's first pick? No, Chinese was. Persian was the second pick. I thought Persians were so much better here. But clearly I'm wrong. Either that or Mr. Yo's just played this perfectly because he had the faster uptime. Does get another conversion. That's the one thing Viper has going for him, is he's able to keep getting these conversions. Back at home, Yo's economy is still chugging. 0 farms. This is a 0 farm economy. That could be the thumbnail. One sec. Bear with me. Graphics. Where is it? Range circles. There we go. There we go. 0 farm economy. We got this thumbnail. Boom. And boom. Perfect. Okay. Back to the game. Skirms are here to defend against the Cav Archers. Knights are there to eat up the skirms. Imp in for both players. Viper realizing he doesn't actually have the second armor even. He was ready to get the third armor on his Knights. Definitely not playing at peak potential. And I said this was going to be 3-1 Yo, but given how Viper's playing, maybe it's just a strategy choice, but Yo's looking so good. I think this might be 3-0 Yo. Siege Workshop. Okay, Viper's cooking. He's going to go for, I think, our counter ram push to try to retake the middle. Give up this right side of his base. But Yo's tracking. He's like, okay, the army's not here. It's just skirms. Where's Viper? Where's Viper right now? Does Yo see that from... Oh, he has so much vision. I did not realize that he would have that much vision. Do we see Town Watch in here? Yeah, okay. He does have Town Watch, not Town Patrol yet. Castle back behind for Yo to try to protect the entrance to his economy a little bit. I think Viper was just trying to get some counter raids in. Sees that Yo already has pikes as well. Halbcia is probably the ultimate composition that Yo wants. The fact that Yo got this castle up here is crazy. I think Viper just really underinvested in trying to take the middle control. Maybe thought he could be able to take it back with Imp. Still has gold in the back here. And he's not really making that many gold units. But it's quite limited. And I don't think he has any fish traps. So, okay. Viper, the fish traps. As a guy who prides himself on fish traps, I'm wondering if we have the name swapped. I don't know what Viper does here. He still has... Okay, now he's getting the last armor for his cab. He's losing farming space. He still has 47 farms, or 46 farmers. Losing the castle that has the hill advantage. I don't think Catapulta was in. No, Catapulta's not in. It's just 2 castles producing trebs versus 1. Viper's replacing the castle a little bit further on. And I think the CA are winning this fight over here. Maybe not. Okay, enough knights. But we already have Hal before we have Cavalier. Viper's just so delayed. And I think he's just playing this on as like our first game kind of set. But Yo looks like he has not had a single misstep here. Pulling the Trebs back before the Cavalier get there. Having all the units he needs. Maybe having his CA trapped here because of his Treb. KD, just about a 2-to-1 KD for him. Even sniping the bombard cannons. And I think that's GG. Getting Katsupruto, getting his Sama, dropping the towers. I think Viper underestimated how much Japanese can do with just one pond. I definitely did. Castle is up for Viper, but the Trebs are getting in position to start taking that out as well. And again, Katsupruto Trebs. They're going to be firing in seconds. GG calls Viper. First game to Mr. Yo. Did I have the colors swapped on accident? So Viper playing Chinese after ACCM failed to get much going with the Chinese yesterday. Almost built a house there and then decided against it. Oh, because Chinese have the extra pop in their TC, right? Get 15 pop, or 15, what do you call it? Housing space from the town center, and then you get 2 extra houses from the 9 villagers start. And Mr. Yo, on the other hand, has to build his house. He's going to build it as part of a wall. Has this 4 water buffalo safe and some other ones scouting. Has he scouted? Yeah, he's found all of them. Both players look like they've found all their water buffalo fairly quickly. And 3 on wood versus just 2 on wood for Mr. Yo. So he's thinking a little bit faster uptime, perhaps. That is one place where you can punish the Chinese because they often are up a little bit later. I guess Chinese start with that less wood. I can't remember if that's the case. And Yo going out to gold for his second building by the looks of it. So might be opening archers instead of scouts. Obviously plenty of food still under the town center, so going out to berries isn't necessary super early. Viper's still pushing in those deer and going 2 vills to the berries. It does kind of feel weird to be Portuguese and not going into berries immediately, but it's still a bonus. Like, you don't have to use it immediately. It's not like it's going to really build momentum in the game. Maybe you could say he should have just go scouts to be able to utilize that bonus, but you also have the bonus of cheaper gold units, so it's a matter of which bonus do you want to use. Viper just, yeah, pushing in more and more deer to the middle of his base, to that town center. I guess Yo could have pushed these as well, but he's happy with what he has, and if he's going archers, he's not going to be spending that food as quickly as Viper. Yo coming around now. Wait, Viper's still not up. This is like Voobly days uptimes. Viper is cooking something for sure. Right? Like what he had 41 seconds of idle time. Actually, that's kind of high for Chinese. Maybe his start wasn't as smooth as he wanted it to be. The units were, or the ibex or water buffalo weren't nearby or something.
Wait.
So yeah, he just has to keep his scout either close to his villagers or close to his base. He's thinking about pushing another deer, but difficult to do when Yo scout's gonna be much stronger. Oh, Yo skipped loom as well. 18 pop, no loom. That's impressive that he was able to pull that off. I guess that's the power of having 2 elephants. And rest collected is ahead for Viper going up later. I think Viper might just be playing defensive here, try to go for a faster uptime to Castle Age, and play towards some sort of castle spike. Knight's crossbow is on gold now. Yeah, it is very much just Portuguese thing. What's up, Neil? And there's the range for Viper. Ugly positioning when everything else has been so neat on his map, but I guess it gives him options for quick walls later. Viper's always going to leave himself options for quick calls, getting double bit as well. And Yo has skipped Horse Scholar with such a fast uptime. Obviously, doesn't have any farms yet either, so it's not like Horse Collar is going to come into play. Viper, though, is getting Horse Collar. Doesn't know what Yo's making at the moment. Yo has one spear on the map by his gold. And Viper's tracking, sees that those villagers are going to go build a mill. Just has to watch out for the spear, avoid any pokes. And sees the archer range. And he's pretty happy with that, I think. Got all the information he needs. Knows that Yo can't have been building a range and a stable with the uptime he had. Or he could have, but he just couldn't be producing out of it. And Viper still looks like he has a one villager lead over Yo. Not as big a lead as I think you can get with Chinese, so maybe not the perfect start for Viper, but still pretty decent. And Viper, I think, is just going to play defensive archers. Just wants to be able to track the archers as they're coming across. Don't think he sees them quite yet, but you might expect they're right behind. Yeah, you see them now. Good reaction time there for Viper. And does he go for preemptive tower? We have seen some players go for that. I think for the moment, it's just going to be defensive play. He's going for a mix of archers and scrims. I wonder if he just sends the archers around the other side and then scrims defense. I think for now, it's just going to be defensive. He has a hill next to his gold. Same thing for Yo, actually. So a little bit of a defender's advantage, perhaps. Viper's looking for those archers just in case they wrap around. Leaving the hill for a moment. And did he see them again? Yeah, he sees them again. Yo knows the hills. Yeah, Yo knows the hills there. So he's just going to actually fight on his own hill. And Vipers wants the kill. Doesn't want let Yo just have these archers hanging around his base. He wants to be able to track them. Behind this, Yo continues to wall up. Still just one range. Adding farms now. No horse collar. No new advancements, but I said Viper wanted to track. He's not tracking very well. Scout's going off on its own. One villager going over here to try to wall this up a little bit. Prevent Yo from wrapping around, but Yo has played this perfectly. Viper trying to track with the scout if he can. And, okay, Viper shouldn't lose anything. I think he's still in an okay position, but does want to clear up these archers so he doesn't have to keep track them. Doesn't have to keep his archers at home if he doesn't want to. Yo's micro, though, has been perfect. That villager's still going forward. I guess he's just going to fight. Join the fight. And Yo taking a better fight there. 3-1 eco KD, or military KD. Wants to keep the scout alive still, so Viper's pulling it back. And behind this, Yo just keeping his archers at the gold. Yeah, so he's even expecting that Viper might go for a counterattack the other direction. Just keeping archers in the one place where he's not as walled, as defended. And now he's sending those archers across along the gray brick road, the mossy road, to find out where their friends have gone off to, what adventures they're on. These brave adventurers moving off to the left side towards Viper's base. Viper's really wants to chase this archer back. I'm guessing Viper's constantly looking at this, making sure that Yo's archers aren't regrouping. And he might be surprised. He does have somewhat of an early warning system with this house and the blacksmith that I don't think Yo knows is there yet. So he might just run into it. Did Viper notice that? Viper has plenty of time to notice that. Yeah, okay, he does. But Portuguese player up to Castle Age first. I think Viper wanted a timing. That's crazy that Yo is getting these timings. And Viper force dropping and is up not too far behind. But you really would think that Viper would be up first. Viper also a minute and 10 seconds. Maybe got housed again. And Mr. Yo, a single second of idle time. I mean, some of that is just these house walls. Didn't get housed. Had plenty of food. Wasn't making a food unit that was competing with villager production. And he has all the initiative. And now he's just going to go back. And Viper sees that the archers are all there. He's unable to keep the spear alive, though. What's Viper do here? Mr. Yo, I think, said in the interview yesterday after he played against ACCM that he was a bit concerned about the Chinese late game But I think it's completely the other way around. I think it's Portuguese all the way. Yeah, Organ guns are such a menace. I think they become much stronger in Imp, so I don't think we'll see them in Castle Age. It's once, you know, there's been enough military fighting back and forth. We figure out where, like, that midpoint is, that no man's land. Drop a castle right behind that. That's pretty much controlled by the Portuguese player. Because organ guns will come out. And I think Viper is looking for a timing here and might be surprised that Mr. Yo is already up before him to Castle Age. Yo just moving out with one skirm, but I think playing kind of defensively. Expecting the pressure might come from Viper. Did he want a TC here? Okay, this might give Viper an opportunity. He's still going forward. Despite Yo being up. Despite Yo potentially having the better timing. Sees the town center. Might want to go for the vills. Or might just think, hey, I have more military here. I can fight this. But now he's going to have to realize, yeah, I have to go back. I think that played that fairly sensibly. Did lose 2 archers, though. And Yo, now with a crossbow mass that I don't know where that came from. I did not track that, and I can see the whole map. He's playing so well. Viper trying to get the quick walls in to only lose 2 villagers, which is pretty good. Yo has to respect that Viper can come back from that. And Yo now taking the build lead. Res collected still ahead for Viper, but I don't know if he's using his units as effectively as Yo. 9 to 4 KD. Yo's pretty much fully walled up. Not giving Viper the same opportunity to sneak around with his crossbows. Yeah, Viper's definitely not as sharp. Definitely not as sharp. I mean, Yo also is like peak sharpness, and Viper's like he could use like a little edge. We could bring out the file and give him a little extra edge. Maybe a little bit of serration. Dad sharpness. Yeah. I mean, some of the idle time is, of course, Chinese start. But wait, no, he could have just no, he could have gotten what's it called? Loom. And he wouldn't have nearly that much idle TC time. I don't know what happened to his start. Maybe we'll hear it from him in his recap. Skirm's looping around, but I don't know why Skirms would want to loop around. Viper is completely missing this crossbow army, and he's moving forward with his crossbows up against, you know, a very well-walled opponent and a town center. Viper's good reaction time, though. Not losing any villagers there. Gonna go build another town center. So hopefully he can at least win the macro game. Has units going across both directions. Yo's timing and reaction is really nice as well. I guess, now I was gonna say, Japanese, or Chinese TCs have better vision, but wrong player. Viper does get a kill. That seemed like it was a kill because of pathing. And Yo is unwilling to move further in. Doesn't know if Viper has a siege workshop or anything back there. And I think both players are just going to be willing to add more and more TCs. As long as they have enough control to see that there's no siege coming forward, I guess they want to make sure that their opponent also doesn't get a faster imp timing. Not too many farms from either player, so I think the idle TC time is going to be ramping up. Especially if Viper's on skirms. He really needs to drop farms. Okay. Starting to do that here and in his main base. But not reacting to these crossbow just running into his base. He has so much time. These crossbows have been here forever. It's not like they just snuck in. Also, Viper throwing your way these elite skirms one at a time. They do have full armor. I guess maybe he's focusing over here. We do have a Mangonel now in defense for Mr. Yo. This Viper's running through his base. Yo doesn't go for the attack round. And Viper kind of runs into it, kind of doesn't. Yo now finally needs a market. Might be stubborn about that and lose some villagers. Viper doesn't quite have enough to one-shot, though. But he does have ballistics, I guess. Okay. And he's ready to micro against Mangonels as well. These crossbows who are next to this siege workshop are safe for now. And Viper might find his way back out. I think this might be open. I'm not sure. Viper doesn't think so. Ooh, takes a big shot from that Mangonel. Other side, Viper is getting a cleanup finally on these crossbows. So Yo is finally slipping and showing that he is human. Maybe not as competent microing multiple places as Viper is. Glimmer of hope for Viper here. And Yo switching into stable. Okay. Thinking there was a pretty big clear up on both sides. My opponent's mainly just making skirms. I think I like Viper's approach better. Add extra TCs. The military isn't as important. Or I guess Yo has to because he took some bad fights. 20-6 military. And Viper takes the score lead. A bit of a late bow saw, but better late than never. And Siege Workshop for Viper. Just try to contest this side a little bit better. We'll see that stable as well. No knights or anything on the way yet. And I mean, yeah, Mr. Yo, the stable seems like a mistake. I guess he has 25 on food, so he could afford villagers out of all of these TCs and some knights. Viper a little bit slower to add farms. But I guess with ranged units, sometimes you want to have some units or some wood banks so you can make mangonels and such. Archer's trying to find more kills. Yo taking them back. Trying to keep them all safe. Oh, still loses one though. And the Knight's going for the easy attack first, maybe? I guess he has no armor. Waiting for armor. And Viper now taking the relics. I like that. Really like that. This Mangonel is perfectly placed to stop a monk taking that relic. Perfectly placed. But what's going to come into view first? It'll be the skirms. If Viper sees that, Mangonel easily taken out. The Viper almost saw that. I guess the monk does have good vision. And he might actually have better vision on his Mangonel than Mr. Yo does. Mangonel going to take out the Scorpion. Yeah. The right side, Viper's army all get cleared up. And I think she should be able to take that next relic as well. So 3-1 relics, I think, or 3-0 relics. Mr. Yo's thinking about big cap play, I think, before he clicks up. In the game yesterday against ACCM, I think there was a lot of Castle Age play with Knights and CA and such. And Mr. Yo doesn't have the same momentum in this game. What's up, Treadmill? Yeah, the games today have been a lot better than yesterday. They have been going long, though, so I don't think I can make the... or I can cast the Leary Harris set. Are you talking about the Four Lakes or the... what is it called? Golden Lakes. I thought it was super cool that Mr. Yo was able to just sit on one lake and be perfectly fine with Japanese fish. Viper being a little bit overzealous, I think. Thinking he could push against all of these knights. But at least now he has a clear idea of what Yo's adding. And he has to... he's undecided about whether he's going to send those crossbows forward or back or not. Yeah, Yo is playing super good. But I think in the last, like, 5 minutes have been his first, like, sign of weakness. That he's still human. Losing some units to these archers. Not quite having what it takes. And now he's thinking about a castle. And he wants it on a hill. I think Viper still has enough to contest this, but maybe he doesn't think so. Will Viper see this? He does see it with the outpost, but he's also on the way up to Imp. So there's no point in throwing out his army now. He already picked up the relics from this side of the map. He'll just whittle down the HP on the Knights, and Knights will run back. I think the biggest upgrade for Viper this game has been ballistics. As you see him micro around the Mangonel, split again, and just take as much of Yo's military out as possible. Yo's trying to click up himself, but might not realize that he kind of has the resources for it already. Viper, not with the perfect micro, but still pretty good. He's trying to get handcart at the same time. And what is this? Ooh, okay. Just another army. Once Viper has the opportunity to look over. Do we have... No, we only have the first armor for Yo on these knights. But he is clicked up as well. Viper found his own hill to build a castle on. And Yo running into his base. Viper has got some outposts on the right side just to see a push coming ahead of time. Give him notice. And then 4TC versus 3TC and still getting up faster. Though Viper on 4TC has 16 minutes of idle TC time all the way up to Imp. So not in the best position. And here we have the organ guns coming out. The unit that makes Portuguese so dominant on this map. And it kind of feels like Viper still needed to do more on this map to get into a better position. Because what is he doing against organ guns? Knights. That's really all he has is Cavalier. And Yo's ready to drop a second castle over here to win the Treb fight. You think it looks tough for Yo? I disagree. I think Viper is just losing a position. Actually, this castle might not go up. Viper's in position there to deny that. It's these organs, though, that's so scary. Viper's just waiting around here with this army. He had that issue in the previous game where he wasn't using his army to their maximum extent. Kind of forgetting about them at times. Or did I say last game? I meant last set. Viper does have a Treb on the way. Too cute in this castle. And is making so many crossbow. Getting, what's it called? Bracer now. Can't quite afford chemistry, I think. But is going to be able to snipe these organ guns if he chooses to. But it looks like he's kind of just interested in keeping Mr. Yo on the back foot. That is something I don't see as much from Viper plays, is like changing the area where players are fighting. Yeah, Yo doesn't have army, but he still has castles. Does still need the time to get chemistry for those BBCs. And Viper switching sides. Okay, this is a really good strategy against organs, right? They're very immobile, so they're only gonna be fighting on one side. And Viper going to that same hill where he got a ton of kills earlier on Mr. Yo's units. Even affording Arb now. Mr. Yo's garrisoning some villagers, not all of them. And Viper's now taking the lead. Viper, classic castle on the hill with just a few villagers. Villagers going very, very far to collect some gold, though. Might have to check in on that in a moment. Yeah, if Mr. Yo still had some knights, he'd be able to jump on these trebs. And Viper needs to correct his task position from those archery ranges. They all seem to be going forward, and I don't think he's fixed that. Might be losing some Arbalists unnecessarily. But what is here to deny the Arbalists? They can just stay in his base forever. Yo is immediately going for elite organ instead of making any more military. Is that the right play? I was wondering, like, when is he going to make military? When is he going to make military? He's just saving up for elite organ gun. Chinese don't have a great counter to elite organ. Like, they have no counter. That being said, Viper is getting Cavalier and Bloodlines and Conscription now. And is going to raid Yo just with Arb. I don't think Yo's getting back up over 110 vills from the looks of things. Unless Viper just throws units against organs. Does he even take out an organ gun here? Yeah, he takes out one for like, what, 10 Arbs? Really needs the Cavalier. Lucky thing is, Yo doesn't have the eco to switch into pikes after this. So as long as the Cavalier can get past, or at least take a good fight against the organs when they're not against or under a castle, then he's okay. He's waiting for upgrades for them. Yo just takes that fight. What is Yo doing? Just take the fight. Viper's kind of forgetting about this side of the map. I think he's just too focused on the little bit of micro on this other side, trying to stop Yo from expanding. And Yo calls the GG. He sees the Cavalier. We have a set on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. The Viper was able to do what ACCM was not able to do yesterday with the same exact composition. We're into game number 3 between Viper and Mr. Yo. Viper is still in the blue. It's good. He's playing as the Teutons. His teammate Tato did this against his other teammate Hera yesterday, and Tato was unsuccessful with the Teutons. But he did make it very, very interesting, and that set was when I uploaded to YouTube because it was just so fun to watch. Here, Yo goes for the pulls. Good thing about pulls on this map is, Siri thinks I was talking to her for some reason on my phone. Pulls can get a little trickle of gold from stone mining, and otherwise you have to cut to the outside through 3 layers of trees to get to the rest of the golds on the map. Beyond that, I mean, we might see tower rushes from both players, though Teutons can fit more in their towers, so objectively a better tower rush. Though if they're both just mining gold or mining stone, pulls will get a little bit more out of it. The fullworks might be a little bit exposed, though the berries I think are often on the back of players' bases. This woodline might make this fullwork a little bit difficult to farm around, but I mean he still gets, what, 8 farms easily enough. It's just that one farm that might cause an issue. Maybe not, I might be miscounting. Both players going up very similar times, a bit more idle time for Mr. Yo, but it's not significant. And Viper not immediately trying to cut through. I don't think there's a race to cut through for either player. We're mostly seeing skirm wars on this map, plus towers. But yesterday, we saw skirms into scouts, or it was more like Tato just walled up with Teutons and didn't really go into, didn't really try to fight the skirm war against Hera. So we'll see how both players take this. Treadle, I moved to the Netherlands in, what, July of last year? My girlfriend got a job here at a university. So I have a French passport, and I get to come along for the ride. And I'm working on kind of doing a career switch from biology to more graphic design. And AoE2 is kind of giving me an opportunity to flex those skills a little bit with thumbnails and making animations and stuff like that. So it's been fun. It's been a fun... I'm enjoying it very much, just like cycling around. Today I went on a nice bike ride. Got hailed on, was dodging around geese, and there's a road closure, and it was still fun. So that should tell you something about the Netherlands. But getting back to the game, both players up same time, both getting the same upgrades. This is looking like a mirror match at the moment. We both have civs that have farming bonuses. It's just the pulls have the full work bonus, and the Teutons have the cheaper farms. Viper's acting like he's gonna run under the TC to go snipe a goose, but I don't think that's actually the case. And no production building yet for Vipey. Or other than the barracks, of course. Could just make spears. And full work behind for Yo. So they're both just like going up quick to get eco upgrades, and then just not really making military because they don't feel like it can accomplish as much, maybe. Maybe getting the eco set up and then towers. I guess, you know, waiting to figure out where to build the tower might work pretty well for Viper. Try to build it on a full work. Does he see that second full work behind? He does not. He doesn't see that farm either. That's just a capture age thing. Also, Yo deciding to farm on the front side of the full work, knowing his opponent might come towers. Maybe something he could have done better, or he could have not done. And scouts are just trying to track each other over here. And yeah, not much else going on. It's just a boom game. Yeah, definitely a bold switch, but I was ready to get out of San Diego, so I'm very much enjoying spending, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours a week cycling rather than, like, I don't know, 15 hours a week driving. Was I actually doing 15? I was working 5 days a week. Or I guess I was working more like 3 12-hour days sometimes. So it might be closer to like 8 to 10 hours a week driving. But still a lot. And then we have our first fully filled full work for Mr. Yo. Beautifully done. This one's a little bit more difficult to do. I guess he also can wait for the berries to be finished. And a blacksmith. We still don't have any other production building. There we have a stable from Viper with the Teutons. So you might be thinking scouts plus towers. Both players are just about out to the outside of the map. There is a boar waiting for Viper out there. Could be nice to get him up a little bit faster to the next stage, maybe? Probably not. Kind of just wishful thinking from me. Hostile hopping. I've never thought of that treadmill, but that does sound quite fun. And something that I would be more likely to do if I didn't have a girlfriend. But yeah, we were playing like 3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom in San Diego. And here it's more like 1,300. So quite the difference. But housing is still very difficult to find in the Netherlands. This game is just so passive. For a map that's called Chaos Pit, very non-chaotic. I don't really like this lumber camp. Like, this is the point where we got to, where I'm just judging lumber camps. Okay, Viper's made it a little bit better by spreading out villas on both sides. And scouts just going around the outside. Actually, this is really nice play. I like this strategy. Scouts in the middle don't accomplish much. Scouts going around the outside and kind of denying the chop through and surprising the villagers. Especially as villagers are trying to go make town centers. Really nice. Viper doesn't put him that far behind in the castle age uptime. And thinks about going through there. It's almost just like denying Yo from going this way. I mean, Yo could just make more spears though. And Scout seems to have gotten around that spear with minimal casualties. Yeah, Yo still has his Scout. Okay, looping around the outside as well. Sees Viper on gold. Yo actually got, Yo got up without touching the gold on the outside. Viper might be surprised, but that is pulls for you. And Spear chasing away Yo's Scout. Bloodlines coming in for Viper. It's such a funny standoff. Such a funny standoff. And I can't look away. The scouts, of course, have better line of sight. That's why Viper's moving away. The spears... Or I guess the spears do have good line of sight as well. Or maybe it was just that palisade wall? Viper just doesn't want to take the fight. He just wants to be annoying. Yo's up first. Has the spears. The Viper's like slowly being pushed away. Almost like there's magnetic pressure from these spears. And there's a little rotation. And Viper's going to try to run through, but doesn't want to take any unnecessary hits. And almost times it perfectly, but Yo sees it coming. Scout just gets carried around along for the ride. Now spears, again, have to loop through and around. And I think... I mean, where's Viper's resources? Okay, he dropped a TC. For a second, I didn't see the TC on the minimap, and I saw he had no wood, and I was like, oh boy, what went wrong? So Viper see the TC. He just really wants to get in. He really wants to get in. He doesn't see a wall. He sees the two spears. He's in. He's in. Let's go. He's in. He did it. Pure chaos. And then the scouts freeze. Why are they freezing? It's so frustrating. So frustrating. I hope the new patch improves that. These are Bloodline scouts that have forging and the first armor, but they just keep freezing. Viper can't even get a kill. He has Knights in as well. I missed that. Oh, he just ran right through the middle. Knights that also have extra armor, melee armor, because Teutons. Viper's strategy working out right now. Yo's forced to abandon this. Does have a TC out here on the gold, so can make more units. And Knights are still able to roam around, and Yo doesn't have anything for this. I guess he has a monastery, but these are Teuton Knights, of course. And Viper is taking a few pokes. But what is that? 5-0 eco KD, and Viper is just able to boom behind this. Really well done. Love the strategy choice. Definitely feels like a more of a hidden strategy, but it seems to be working out. And I think it works better here against Poles. It would work even better if Viper's units would stop freezing. Like, I can tell they're freezing. Okay, you saw the spears just froze there for a second. Villager comes over to try to get the gate. Knight takes her. Scouts take the monk. Yo cannot get a break in this. And he's going to fall further and further behind because he can't find a place to probably drop another TC. Like, his best option for more TCs is probably just to come out with these vills further along. But he needs all the gold he can get as well. Viper's invested what feels like so little. Oh, there's a forward castle for Mr. Yo. I knew there was something else going on here because we weren't seeing any more knights. One converted spear now. And, I mean, the Yo castle isn't huge. I think Viper's doing a good call here and just going back. Tried to pick off that monk, but wasn't able to. And Yo definitely doesn't have the economy for Shlachta privileges yet. So, doesn't need to worry about knight spam. It's just a matter of limiting map control to some extent. Only one relic in the middle, I believe. The rest are on the outside of the map. And knights are still creating issues here for the farmers on the full works. But these slow Teuton knights are hard to watch. They're trying to take good fights, but they can't. And Viper, I think, gets the monk if the knights will attack. Okay, he does get the monk. And more villagers going down. 10-0 equal KD. Scouts really unhappy with that farm. I think this is just strategy choice. It's been said before that Mr. Yo isn't always the most strategic player at the beginning. He's just playing more based off of what he feels is correct. And now he just, I guess, wasn't expecting all the cap pressure. And he's having difficulty responding to it. I think he gets the stone wall up. But the monks are really far away from the TC, so I think the knights can just pounce on the monks. Might still get a conversion, though, even with Teutons. There we go. Okay. I'd be really surprised if he didn't. And I think Viper's just going to look for Vill kills. 12 Vill kills. 13 Vill kills. These are Teuton knights with extra armor, so it's going to take a while for Mr. Yo to clean him up. I think he just keeps running around. That's all he needs to do. Viper just builds another town center behind to control this. A farm TC. A true farm TC. That's fun to watch. And behind us, he has quite a nice eco. Many farms, many villagers, even collecting the boar and then farming behind. Such cheap Teuton farms. And yeah. You would think the Pole's bonus is mainly the full work. Partially getting gold from stone, but mostly full work. But when you can't farm successfully, it's so hard. And even trying to use monks here. He's just sniping the monks. I think Mr. Yo has gotten one conversion, has lost like 5 or 6 monks. 28 to 11. I mean, this is what Viper needed in this game. Now getting wheelbarrow, getting devotion. Needs to keep making knights though, because he is still trading them for villagers. And not for army. But still has the military advantage. All the same. Shlachta privileges? Okay. That was a misclick. There's no way Mr. Yo could afford that yet. Like, Shlachta privileges still requires a good food eco. 4 TC for Vipe. Yeah, I don't see a way back for Mr. Yo. Like, late game, Teutons are still favored. They have better upgrades. Pole's cavalry, sorry, is not as good as the Teutons. They can spam more, but I don't think we get to a point where Mr. Yo gets an option to spam. Viper would have to be so greedy for that to be an option. And Mr. Yo, Garrison the left TC and then forgot about the right TC. So we have even more knights killing villagers. Like, Viper's killed more villagers of Mr. Yo than Mr. Yo's killed any units from Viper. And Viper has, yeah, all the upgrades he needs on these knights as well. Just missing iron casting to make them fully upgraded in Castle Age. If Yo was walled, it would be better. Yeah. It was letting the knights in through the front of his TC is a good play from Viper. And I think it's really hard to add walls down the middle of your base. O-Books are here, though, plus knights. O-Book, what do they have? Base armor. 2+1. But Viper's getting conversions against the knights. O-Books are coming through. I mean, they're decent against knights, but they're not, like, exactly a replacement for pikes.
Hey, sir.
And still not as good as knights. You know, historically, actually, the Poles did fight against the Teutons quite a bit. The Poles had an alliance with the Lithuanians. If you want to find out more about that, you can look at my Meals of Empires video found on YouTube, where I did the Lithuanians and the Poles back to back, one after the other. Another castle drop here by Mr. Yo, and Viper looks like he wants to just go up. I don't know what his second building is. Oh, it's a castle in Mr. Yo's base. Okay. A little bit risky because you probably know there's another castle going into your base, but these are just Teuton farms that are cheap and easily replaceable. Viper just has to pay attention to that. He's also making a stable on the other side where Mr. Yo wanted to place a TC. But Mr. Yo's not getting the opportunity to do that. I don't think he has enough garrison space in his TC. The knights are absolutely feasting, and Yo's just losing so much. I think he gets his castle up and calls GG. Like, Viper doesn't care. Okay, he might care about that. Misidentified what the range of the castle was. Knight's gonna come out immediately. Yeah, Knights just come out immediately. And villagers who thought they could make an extra TC are gonna be unpleasantly surprised. I think Viper hits Imp and Yo calls it. He's completely penned in here. Except for through the middle. But fighting through the middle still seems difficult. All the stone is in the middle, though. So, I guess Viper still has enough for another castle. Probably just pops it right there if he wants to trap this back. Oh, no. He just castles on the other side of Mr. Yo's base with 2 villagers. Doesn't even bother walling them in. That's a lot of O-Books. If Viper throws this by going up to Imp too early... No, he has 100 pop. Or 100 vills. That's still a lot of O-Books. I think Viper just walls this. You retreat the vills, you wall this. You fight with what units you have. You garrison vills in the TC. Please wall. Please wall, Viper. Don't throw this. Maybe even get Bodkin for your TC. Viper, what's the reaction here? Oh, he's in a castle fight over on the other side. Okay. He is getting more Vil kills. But finally, Mr. Yo's been able to return the favor. And Yo calls GG. Okay. It didn't matter in the end. He was just too far ahead. Yeah, Viper's scout strategy of just looping around worked out pretty well. And so the 3-1 sweep, or semi-sweep that I was expecting from Mr. Yo, might not actually end up happening. If Viper continues to have these good strategies. But what's the next map going to be? Alright, I'm all caught up to lifetime. Back in it into game number 4 between Yo and Viper. Viper needs one more win. Moving back into blue. To be able to stay in the winner's bracket. Yo, if he drops, will face Tato, I believe, in the loser's bracket tomorrow. Playing on Arabia, Yo is the Vietnamese, Viper as the Lithuanians. Viper has a really nice wood line here. He trapped 2 villagers in there. And just needs 1 lumber camp. Okay, 8+1 on wood. Standard 9 on wood to be able to afford your buildings as you go up to feudal age. And Viper also 1 pop faster, or 2 pops faster than Yo. With the Lithuanians having that extra 100 food at the start. Makes that start a little bit smoother. I doubt he can afford a horse collar and double bit axe and still afford as many scouts as he wants. So it's probably just going to be double bid axe, start mounting that pressure. And he's trying to find Yo. Very open Arabia Gen, I would say. At least in front of Yo's base. He's just going to wall to the TC, I think. He does at least have back berries, back gold. And Viper also... Berries, gold are forward, but manageable. With some walls. Back of his base is a little bit open, but... I think the way he's walling makes some sense. Keeps himself somewhat safe, though that villager might get picked off. Quick walls from Viper. Make sure he gets that house up. And yeah, you can just run back to TC at this point. I don't think Yo's going to be blocking too much. And even, okay, wants to continue with the walls. That's fine as well. Range is the opening for Yo. I think Viper has a pretty good timing here, being up faster. Also still has a lot of sheep under his TC. Building farms all the same. Wants to make sure he has the food necessary to keep up Vil and scout production. And the stable losing efficiency a little bit. Can't quite afford the next scout. Maybe needed to send a few more villagers off the wood line back home. But at the same time, he's walling. And he wants the wood for a range. Okay. Yo, on the other hand, walling up. He's liking his map, apparently. Very early walls. And he's actually going for horse collar, which is a little bit cheaper with the Vietnamese. Not costing any wood whatsoever. Just, what, 75 food, I believe? Still can delay you in these kind of settings if you want to get out a lot of food units, but since Mr. Yo is just focused on adding archers, he should be okay. And Viper coming forward with the scouts does get poked once. Trying to find a way into Yo's base and realizing there isn't a good one. In the previous game on Chaos Pit, he was able to just run under the TC with some knights when Yo wasn't paying attention, when he was looking at the back of his base. I think Yo is going to be a little bit more familiar here on Arabia. And for Viper, it's a mix of archers and skirms, it looks like, that he's producing. Very, very tight eco for him. No idle TC time at the same time, so still prioritizing Vil production over scouts. And yeah, it's looks smooth so far for Viper. Looks like he's finally gotten things back on gear after that first game that looked very shaky. But at the same time, just maybe is bad strategy more than it was bad execution. Chasing with one scout, sending the other scouts forward. Doesn't, I guess, want to bother with that spear. That's just going to delay him. He wants to get the pressure going against Mr. Yo, and Mr. Yo's playing very defensive here. Maybe trying to just defend enough and make Viper over-invest into Feudal Age. I think Viper's been leader to Castle Age in every single game in this set so far. I'm thinking back to what game 1 was. That was Golden Stream, right? Or no, that was with Persians. Okay. And Viper was definitely later there. He was later by like 3 Vils. And now Viper's just fighting, and Yo realizes he still needs fletching to be able to try to defend. But he's still in a fairly good position all the same. Viper's still making archers, so he's thinking maybe he'll play archers in Castle Age. Lithuanians do have decent cav archers as well, if you wanted to go mix of cav archers and such. But I do not think that Viper's getting in here. And I don't think he's really getting any pickoffs either. He's just going to slowly wall, I think, behind this. At least make sure he's walled by the time he goes up to Castle Age. And take whatever map control he can and hope that turns into control for relics, because I do think he's going to want relic control as Lithuanians. Vietnamese player will probably just be looking for a timing. Ooh, stable that's kind of visible. Will Viper see that, though? I think he will. He'd probably move around to this wood line and try to force the Vils to move somewhere a little bit safer. Just microing back and forth on either side of the archery range. Behind this at home, Viper, yeah, sending all the vills he needs to gold, and probably will be able to click up. Might get wheelbarrow still before he clicks up. And Yo's eco is looking perfect. We'll be up even faster. Even adding a skirm now. I guess just in defense, or maybe just because that worked better with his eco balance. Because he's missing the gold rather than missing the food to click up. Idling his TC now. Probably could have added another villager. Okay. He just seems to be happy enough idling. And Viper up. Very similar time. Higher score because of a lot of the scouting. And just the amount of military he has in the field. But Yo hasn't really been skimping on military either. Does he? Yeah, he has all his archers in the TC just to let them heal back up. It's a nice little touch. And Viper just wants to make sure he can track the archers as they come across. Something you saw a lot of players do is find like another place to loop their archers out of their base where their opponent wasn't watching. But not the case here. Viper up at the same time, right? Yeah, but he has... Did he get Vill picks? No. How does he have 3 Vills? 39 to 36. Oh, wheelbarrow, right. Okay. Of course. Wheelbarrow also coming in faster for the Vietnamese, which is a nice eco bonus. And Yo's ready to come out. And Viper's leaving at exactly the wrong time. But he is taking the hill. Viper, where are you sending your scouts, buddy? I think Viper was maybe afraid that the archers had already run out because he wasn't seeing them. And now he's going to come back to try to fight together. No armor or any upgrades on the scouts. So I don't know what Viper's follow-up is here. Come to Castle Age. It might be kind of boom. Or at least TC's first. Military later. Viper doing a good job of avoiding most of the arrows with the archers. And clearing up the skirms. Viper just going for Bodkin for now. A knight. And bowsaw. Okay. And for Mr. Yo, it's a little bit more clear. Just go into crossbow and Bodkin. Elite skirm also coming in for Viper. Okay. Faster skirms for Lith. As expected. This hill looks like it's going to be so crucial in the middle. Viper's just not going to let Mr. Yo come across the map freely. He's going to use this hill to the maximum extent. And where did that knight... Okay, that knight's just among the scouts for Viper. Second TC for Mr. Yo on that same wood line he was already taking. This wood line in the back where you probably want to put one is a little bit restricted because of that hill. And Viper just getting armor on the skirms. Skirms are often said to be the best unit. Partially in jest and partially real because, I mean, they just stop every other range unit in their tracks. But Mr. Yo does have enough knights and has the first armor on him as well. So has invested a little bit more into military. I guess Viper's invested into the monastery and will be able to push away these knights with the monk. I don't think Yo can give away a conversion. Yo, you can't give away a conversion. Apparently he thinks he can. Skirms are temporarily blocking the monk. Wait, did Viper not get a conversion? Did Yo delete a unit? What happened there? Viper taking a bad fight because he didn't get a conversion. I'm gonna have to rewatch that. Once we get to a... Okay, there he finally gets conversion. And Wall's behind. And there was a hole. How is there a hole? There is a hole, yeah. Actually, this is a bug report I ran into the other day. Where someone mentioned how the stable from, I guess, Eastern Europe goes a little bit past the tiles. And so, yeah, you can see where the barracks ends and the archery range ends, and the stable doesn't end there. Viper's going to want a mod for his stable after this game. To fix that. People are just saying, just make the model smaller. And there, Viper closes it off a little bit. But Viper's seriously behind in military because he was taking a bad fight there. Didn't get that conversion. If he gets that conversion, it was a completely different fight. Alright, I think... no, I don't want to... I still want to look back and try to figure out what happened to Viper's monk. Why he just didn't get a conversion. If Yo just deleted exactly the right knight, or what happened. But Viper's really on the back foot. He is on 3 TC though. But the reaction times. Viper. Definitely struggling. I mean, he saw where the crossbows were going around. But I guess he's trying to redistribute his villagers evenly. Getting ballistics, I guess, for skirms, just to defend behind his walls. Didn't get any relics after making that monastery as one of his first buildings. Yeah, it's tricky. Very tricky. And Siege Workshop forward for Mr. Yo. Freely taking that hill now. Behind, he's going to have a great economy. He's also on stone, so he's thinking forward castle with all this pressure. Siege to keep his opponent contained. And then do more after. Viper's eco is looking really ugly. Is it just one range skirms as well? It is. The stable kind of feels like it was a mistake from Viper. Wasn't really able to utilize it. Going second monastery, okay. Or no, range, sorry. Completely misunderstood what that foundation was. And all of these villagers over here need quick walls. We'll get a conversion. Alright, now's the time for me to look back and figure out what happened in this fight for Viper. Oh, Viper's coming back. He's going for the conversion on the far knight. And he just switches. Did he press... He might have pressed stop on the monk. No, it just stops the conversion. I don't understand. Or maybe press the heal hotkey? It's like he has the same hotkey for heal and something else? I don't know. Alright, back caught up to lifetime. I mean, Viper still has a decent number of villagers. He hasn't really lost that many villagers in this process. But he just doesn't have them. I guess he does have the military again. He must know Mr. Yo and know that a castle will be coming soon enough. Does he see the siege yet? I don't think so. Hasn't graced his base yet. Another hole has opened up now that that wood line is open. Something for Viper to be aware of. You might just want to wall that up with a palisade real quick. But I think that's what the Mangonel is going to focus on. I don't think the Mangonel reaches the TC from the edge here. That's possibly the case. And Lightcap coming in for Yo. Recognizing that it's just Monk and Scrim defense from Viper, predominantly. Redemption coming in for Viper. Somehow, this Monk avoids that Mangonel shot. Just aimed at the TC instead. Skirm's coming out for Viper. Is that just to protect the relic? I think he is on relic patrol duty. He still wants relics behind this. The fadeaway shot for Mr. Yo does not work. Both Mangonels are converted. Gets one Cav Archer with one of the Mangonels, and they eventually get cleaned up by him. But really nice conversion. I think made up for the cost of redemption right there. And Knights don't want to take fights against Skirms. I think Mr. Yo is just worried about more conversions. And Viper's taking the Vil lead. How? I mean, I know Mr. Yo has been investing a lot into Knights. But it kind of feels crazy. I like Mr. Yo's outposts. He's making sure he sees Viper if he tries to get out or do anything fancy. And outposts tell him where he wants to do use his military. But here's that forward castle that we were expecting from Mr. Yo. It's a classic strat. Where does he want to put it? He sees the town center there. And we haven't seen any siege. Oh, right in the front of Viper's base. On his face. Right next to his main gold. Viper's trying to get the conversions on the CA. The Knights have been pulled back so that they don't get converted. 2 CAs still get converted all the same. Now the Knights come in. More Monks coming out to try to get their own conversions. Skirms focus firing whatever is in reach, I guess. And Viper desperately wants the Mangonel. I think he should just switch onto a knight right now. Because he's not getting that. That was purely a bait. And this castle looks like it's going up. Castle of his own, okay, for Viper. Oh, thinks better of it. Deleting more farms to get up the castle. And knights are just going to loop back into the back of his base. Viper realizes he has monks just hanging out. Relics are in. So if Viper had any knights, they'd have more attack right now. Big if, though. And Viper wants to get up to Imp and just treb this back, but he doesn't have a market. Forcing that up with I don't know how many villagers. And Viper lost the Vill lead as well. Behind all that pressure. Does get a conversion against Mangonel. Mangonel goes down. Monk's just in the wrong side of his base. Vill's on the wrong side of his base. So much damage control because he didn't wall his base earlier. But he is up to Imp at the same time as Yo. Okay. Still anyone's game, maybe. But Yo with what I thought was a sizable military lead, but we might be in a similar situation as last game where Yo's kind of thrown away his military. Invested in a lot and then threw it away without huge return. That saying, he is still up 20 military. But Lightus is on the field. With Lightus, anything is possible. Why did Viper open that? Ooh! Was that a trap attempt? I don't think so. I think he just wanted to get the monk out there so that he could get more relics. And the scrims are actually able to take out some of the cavalry. Skirms just being a pain on the other side. And I think Yo's still going to be able to collect that relic and deny it from Viper. Yo already has one other relic in, so the last one is over here. And the Lightus are kind of guarding that. Along with the Lion. Viper thinking about a castle on this hill, I think. Will Yo decide to come over there and check on it? No way Yo Viper's going for a forward castle. Okay, there we go. Castle on the hill, but does he have the military here to support? Scout brings the Lightus out of position. More scouts here. Yo pulls back, or sorry, Viper pulls back to the rest of his military. Looks like it's going to be 3 Vills dead. Oh no, he saves that one. And now we have Lightus versus Rattan Archers. I think I prefer Lightus. As long as they don't freeze. And Viper finding some gold still, but Yo still see... Oh, he doesn't see the TC. He needs another outpost. Okay. Second house will find it. Once it goes up, if Viper stops that house from going up, he'll be hidden still. Both players in Imp, and we have 2 trebs for Viper, 2 trebs for Mr. Yo. The good thing for Viper in this situation is that the Vietnamese castles are very weak. Because they can't get, what is it called? Architecture, or the one that comes before it, whose name I'm forgetting. Why am I hearing dead vills? Are they just dying to castle fire? I think that is the case. Lightus can potentially also dive under and kill trebs, but I think Viper's just using his Lightus to raid Mr. Yo, whose walls now have a lot of holes in them because a lot of the wood lines are gone. Skirm's trying to clear up the Rattan Archers. Do have ballistics, okay. And the Lightus, I mean, I feel like Lightus can take any fight they want, right? Full armor on them, or at least full castle age armor. And yeah, I think Yo's losing these forward castles. Viper was doing just enough in defense. It was not a clean game from him, but I think he's holding this position at least. And I don't like Yo's composition at all. His military is just a few Rattans, a few light cav, chasing after... Okay, at least he won the Lightus fight. So these scrims might get cleaned up. Viper does have, yeah, almost full upgrades on them. And they are faster Lithuanian scrims. This villager can't do much about that TC being up. And Viper's keeping up one of his castles at least. But he doesn't have anything here to support it. And these scrims are getting cleaned up. These Rattan Archers can just sit here. Viper's trying to dodge with ballistics. I think that BBC still goes down. Viper's going to lose all of his castles. And he calls the GG. I thought he was getting back into this. I was wrong. He just lost too much there in late Castle Age. Well played, Mr. Yo. We're into game number 5, last game of the set, the cider, to see who stays in the upper bracket and who goes down to the losers bracket. On Land Madness, let's move Viper back into blue and Yo into red. Yo playing the Saracens, Viper the Gujaros. 2 great camel civs, though I think I slightly prefer the Saracens. Just having that extra HP I think is a little bit better than what the what do the Gujaras have for the camels? Well, Colin, the Gujaras have camels that have extra bonus damage. There is bonus damage still against other camels. Can we see that in Capture Age? The attack? Yeah, it's not, I guess, visible in the Camel Scout, but once we have actual camel riders, we should be able to see it. Viper going with the early mill, and he puts 6 in his mill, 6 sheep in his mill, versus the 5 we were seeing twice earlier from, I think it was from Kingston. Oh, board didn't go all the way, just stopped, and there was some issues with that Ibex push as well. So yeah, what Mem was very astutely putting, that these players might be a little bit tired, might be the case. Who would have known? Who would have guessed it? I've been streaming for 8.5 hours, so the fact that I'm still mostly coherent is a surprise to me as well. Yoa's Saracens, yeah, those beefier camels that have extra HP is really nice. And I think they beat out the Gujar camels just by a little bit. Gujars do produce camels faster, so that might help if Viper is a little bit behind in production like he has been in a lot of these sets. Three on wood and 3 on wood. Okay, pretty similar. Viper also not microing to make sure his villagers are on the same side of the wood line. I guess it's not too important at this point because he's sending all the villagers to wood now that he's clicked up. 9 on wood for Viper, and I'm sure it'll be 9, possibly 9 on wood for Mr. Yo. Saracens can have some very interesting uptimes, or feudal age strategies, if you incorporate the market first. We've seen opening archers, then adding scouts, and then just going forward with both at the same time, using the market to sell stone. Yo did remember he had a sheep out on the left side, bringing that back over to his base now. Meanwhile, for Gujaras, it's usually... Actually, it's similar. It can be scouts or archers. Because Gujaras are missing knights, though I don't think we'll see... I mean, we'll see some of them, I'm sure, this game. Always see some knights. Unless it's a Meso mirror. But because they're missing knights, oftentimes you open archers and then move into camels later, just so that you have archers and those upgrades started in case you're just up against like spears or something. But you could just also go scout into archers and feudal age as well. Many options available to Viper. Viper now finding Mr. Yo's base. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult on Land Madness. There's a lot of different spawn opportunities in between all of these rocky woodlands. And it is a range from Viper, as Gujaras. And range as well for Mr. Yo. So pretty even here. Yo identifying where the resources are, scouting a bit, both players getting double bid axe. No sheep under Viper's TC. I guess that's the advantage of Gujaras. No sheep under your TC that the enemy scout can snipe. They're safely hidden away in the mill. There's the market we were expecting from the Saracen player. So he can sell some of that stone to be able to get those archers out, or even add a stable and buy some food. Okay, it looks like it's just going to be early ballistics timing then. Selling all of his stone. There it is. That cheap Saracen market. Viper, meanwhile, I think these villagers are just retasked to berries. Don't think that was an intentional move. And it looks like he's going out with just the 2 archers, no spear. And blacksmith of his own. Viper does have the advantage here against the scout with the camel scout. And trying to get some early initiative, though. What does Viper see in Mr. Yo's base? Okay, he's thinking wood line's back here because he didn't see anything on that wood line. And he doesn't see anything on that wood line. And fletching timing is almost perfect for Viper. Right before he arrives, he's distracting with the camel scout in the front. He's thinking, yeah, I have the opportunity to get at least like 1 or 2 Vil picks here. And the scout was distracted, so it didn't see the archer coming across. Viper sees the Vils. He sees the opportunity, pulls his camel scout back. A little bit of a miss micro there. But following the Vil, Yo's taking a minute to react. And doesn't get her. Pulls away a little bit too quickly. It was just the miss micro, the misstep on the first shot. And I don't think Viper gets another opportunity as Yo brings his archers and skirm over now. Yo doesn't, need to trade HP here. And Viper runs back home. Meanwhile, Scout for Viper is probably going to find Yo's Scout again. And Viper now can kind of track where Yo's archers are as they're following him. Viper doesn't know where the Scout went. Might run into it anyways. Yep, I think he just was using a attack ground, so that aggressive camel scout will keep chasing that scout, and Viper losing 1 archer, first death of this last match in the set. Stable as well for Viper, adding some scouts. And has to be aware of the camel scout. Might still get that kill, actually. Oh, both go down at the same time. Okay. Probably worse for Viper there, because that could have been a camel in Castle Age. I guess the scouts could be light Kev as well. But overall, pretty back and forth match. I don't want to say anyone has a huge advantage. I think Yo might have wanted a bigger advantage here since he sold all of his stone. But he's just kind of floating resources and isn't using it to its full potential. I guess now adding farms to make use at least of the wood. But Viper still has the initiative. Still has fewer units. And I like this splitting of these skirms and the archers for Mr. Yo. I don't think Viper wants this to go to Castle Age. I think he's a little bit worried of the stronger archers, or stronger camels of the Gujaras. But I think Yo took a better fight there. I think Viper might have forced it a little bit too hard. And Yo picked up what Viper was doing. Just enough archers to deal with the scouts from Viper. And Viper's going to make more, whereas Yo's using that market again, and he's ready to start clicking up to the next stage. Is this going to be a 5th game in a row where Viper is just so much slower? Or is he taking a page out of Tato's book and just going full feudal pressure? Viper, you can't go back. You've invested in these scouts. You're still investing in these scouts. You must see Yo's score has dropped, that he's up. Bloodline's coming in as well, yeah. Viper's really staying in this one. He can't loop around that wood line. There's no way around. It's all the way to the edge of the map. Viper confirms it 3 times over. Behind this, his farm count still looks good. But it's a matter of, is he able to get in there? Yo could just wall in this wood line as well, and he'd be pretty safe. Viper's gonna find a new point of attack here. Near the gold. But it looks like Yo has just enough here to defend. Armor's just about in. Viper's ready to take the attack with the scouts. Archer's behind. Might bait the scrims into firing, but I don't think so. I think Viper just wants to go for the kill on these villagers. Has yet to find one. There we go. First one. And if Mr. Yo is off gold, it's good, but it's not great. Because he can, of course, just sell all the other resources to get gold. And he has a stable now, so he can make camels. Camels alone won't be enough to clear Viper up. But, yeah, look at that. Yo just switching over to the stone so that he can just sell stone for gold. And Viper behind this could use the market himself if he has one to click up. Don't see one, so I think he's just going up organically. And he's just happy to micro his units until that point in time. Second stable for Mr. Yo. This is going to be some heavy camel play. Oh, knights. Okay. Makes sense. And getting the armor. There we go. Viper clicks up himself. He's thinking market. I think he might think tower as well. Maybe tower the gold and just wall in this wood line ahead of time. He has plenty of time as the units come over. Or maybe he's not concerned. He thinks he can win this fight. He still has the military lead. Scouts need to kind of block or pounce on the archers. There we go. Pounce on the archers. Allow his archers to get back home safely. What's the defense here for Viper? Not really anything. Also, this hill in the woodline prevents him from TCing that woodline. Viper's trying to find the little corners and nooks and crannies in the alleyways in his base to be able to keep these archers alive, but I think Yo's going to clear him up, and Viper's going to get to Castle Age with very, very little military. He's just looping around, buying himself time. Better military than villagers, right? Has cleared up some knights, and there's a camel scout that Viper made on the way to go up. Does get some bonus damage still against the knights, even before its full camel form. And I think Viper might just pull this back. Still feels like he could have used a TC. And Yo now switching over to camels in his production. Doesn't have many though. And I think Viper has weathered the storm, adding a second stable now. And looks like he has much, much better eco. 40 to 39, but I mean, looking at his res that's banked, just looks better. Can afford a monastery as well. I think that goes up. And finds the quick walls on the gold, though very inefficient gold villagers now. Camels are ahead for Mr. Yo. Viper can't get husbandry though, and Mr. Yo is going to have a hard time getting that. Yo is pulling back the weak knights to repair them, or not repair, heal them. And Yo's even thinking Cav Archer? Wow, he is thinking Cav Archer. How did he afford a second TC? Yo's had his economy so low that I thought that he just couldn't afford anything. But I think he's just using the market so much that I was thinking it was... I don't know. Like, he just wasn't collecting any resources. He was just spending it all on military. But no, he pulled back on military spending a little bit, which I think is something the US could do as well. Oh, you didn't think I was going to go into geopolitical issues? What do you know? That's what happens with late night stream. And both players just bringing back their cavalry to get them healed. Viper taking the opportunity to look around the map, identify where all those extra golds and all those extra stones that are spread around this land, kind of in a mad pattern. Bosaw in for Mr. Yo. Yeah, he's playing this like it's a normal game again after utilizing the market so much. He still has 8 on stone and he's just selling all that stone for gold and then buying whatever he needs. Mostly food at this point. His farm count is a little bit low. Interesting that Viper's thinking light cav. I guess that's his alternative to knights. And does he get a conversion here? Okay, I almost thought he would because the cav archers might miss and the knights were a little bit slow because they don't have husbandry, I don't think. Cav. Oh, he does have husbandry. Okay. Now getting Botkin. Camels find quite a few kills there. Wow. 6 eco kills. And Yo's trying to return the favor. Has to pull back with the knights. Gets a cav archer conversion. Some light cav, light cav camel there, trying to fight it out. And Viper keeps pulling back random units. I'm not sure what the idea was there. And camels, he can just take this fight. Just take the fight. Okay, realizes Mr. Yo is pulling back. And Viper already has this 3rd TC right on the back of the map. Next to the stone mine. And now he's going to build one in the front. This is very similar to the map front line, where you have a pocket, a mid pocket, and a flank. If you're playing 3v3, all in a row here with the TCs. Eventually, he's going to run into Mr. Yo if he continues in the same order. And these Saracen monks healing up. Eventually, could get what is the attack? By Martisan? No. By Maristan. which I believe is the Farsi or Arabic word for hospital. And Viper's ready to boom. He's not seeing any crazy military production from Mr. Yo. It's just kind of a cobbled mess. And also getting, what is this called again? Devotion. I guess recognizes how many monks Mr. Yo has invested into. But this wood line is very scary. He needs to run it to this TC that's being built by 3 villagers. Mr. Yo sees the wood line's been abandoned, goes for the monks instead. I think Viper gets a conversion. I said that before. Doesn't get any. And I think Mr. Yo can take this fight. Just pull back to the CA. Use the knights to block. And maybe Viper peels back now? I mean, I guess if you whittle down this massive CA, it's always good. Yeah, pull back now. And Viper, a bit of idle TC time. So does Yo. Yo's still on 3 though. Viper on 4 now, so should be able to keep up. And these camels are gonna rush the CA. Try almost get us around. Freeze a little bit. Not ideal. Lots of investment into these CA with Thumbring and Ballista coming through. Monks as well. Viper's gonna pull back instantly. Yeah, pretty quickly. He knows about those Yo conversion times and is worried about them. Switches into adding light cav to his composition now. Just to snipe those monks. And camels are going to go try to raid in the meantime. I'm assuming these camels also have husbandry, but I can't tell. Yeah, they do. Okay. So they're just as fast. And Mr. Yo doing a good job healing up all the units. Really focused on that CA mass now. And I think Viper might need, like, scorpions or something more than camels to deal with the CA now. Almost feels like he's throwing away the cav archers. The light cav have their sights trained on the monks and will clear them up. All you need is light cav and forging to 2-shot monks. Yeah, Viper having difficulty with this unit composition. If it just turned into a camel versus camel fight, he'd be okay. But Mr. Yo was aware of that, and so he's switching into the CA instead. And Viper's retort, I should say, is to just add a castle. I don't think he's going to be making units out of it, but at least it prevents Mr. Yo from continually just going through that same avenue of attack and force him to, yeah, come around one of these other areas. Viper also thinking about the trap around the CA. Just needs to really focus on it. Got some nice hits. That CA is not coming back for heals. And Mr. Yo trying to line up some shots or bring his CA back together, but he's looking like he's going to be unsuccessful with that. Castle as well for Mr. Yo back at home. Yo sees this castle is up with that outpost, now with the CA. Viper ready with the conversions as always. Very, very even game 5 here. It's just I think Mr. Yo's composition is a little bit better, but at any time you can slip. Forget about those cav archers. Just leave them in an engagement a little bit too long, especially in game 5, where you might not be as sharp as you were in game number 1, where Mr. Yo looked flawless. Engagement like this might give up an extra cav archer, and it might add up. And these camels are just not losing that much HP as they run away. Mr. Yo's trying to cut off their escape, and I think Viper is thinking about just looping around, building a castle in defense over here on another hill behind his TC. And Viper, yeah, I don't know. Going on more TCs now that he's clicked up to Imp. I think he probably wants the castle unique tech next before he adds too much more military, which makes all of his units cost less food. Also picking up another relic, trying to go for a conversion in the meantime. No way he gets one. He gets a conversion. Did he get the right unit? I think he did get the right, and Mr. Yo's trying to try to convert it back and maybe take that relic. And yeah, okay, Viper is just going to continue scouting around. Maybe, I don't know why these units split up. Maybe just sent the weak ones back into the castle to heal. Oh, yes. I didn't realize this castle got denied. I didn't see where the CA went. These CI have 9 kills, so they haven't been like super effective. It's just, it's what they can mean for the future. And Mr. Yo actually clicking up quite a bit later than Viper. Part of that is just not, or you know, having to invest in the CA, which are still expensive units. There's still a cost. It's not like because you have the unit, you can just make them. And I don't think this is a good fight for Mr. Yo. These camels have tons of bonus damage. And this is what I was saying. Mr. Yo, game 5 might be slipping a little bit. And this CA mass might be what gives Viper the edge back into the game as he takes the score lead. He has 2 castles on his flanks. He has 5 TCs to keep his vills pumping. Viper wanted to get that other relic, but it's no longer there. And he also has scouts and light cav in the back of Mr. Yo's base. Mr. Yo's base is still looking pretty well fortified. It's just this one side. Actually, a wall here to funnel units towards the castle would give Mr. Yo so much space in the back of his eco. That would be safe. Cav archers, again, trying to take on this camel. Now, Viper's getting how do you pronounce this? Kishatrias. This would be a Gujarati word, but it sounds a bit more Persian to me, or Arabic. Kishatrias. Yeah. I'm gonna have to ask my local Gujarati friend to give me advice on the pronunciation there. Mr. Yo still on the way up to Imp, whereas Viper is getting the last armor for his Cav. And he's switching into Shravamsha Riders. Interesting. I guess he hasn't seen any camel from our Saracen player. So he's thinking Shravamsha... Maybe it's just Shravamsha raids. I don't like this triple trebbing. Viper feels like he has no military here to support. And Yo taking the score lead again. Why trickle Treb here? I guess he's like thinking that he can get 2 shots off before any military arrives. And the CA is not going to kill his Treb without upgrades. I guess that might be the case. I like the raid him to death policy or approach. Is Viper waiting for elite Shravamsha? Okay, now he's reproducing. How many stables does he have? 3 stables. Okay, he's just spreading them out all over the place. The CA can't be everywhere. And to deal with Shravamsha, they kind of have to be in mass. Now, Yo is going for heavy camel. But still one of the longest upgrades to get. And okay, Viper getting heavy camel as well. Might give Viper the opportunity to push down the center here. Where's this Treb gonna go for Viper, though? Viper catching up in Vil count as Mr. Yo is going up to Imp. And Viper just can't seem to get the kills he wants. I guess also Viper killing more villagers as well. And there's the additional production. You know, Kishatrias actually gives Viper cheaper camels as well. So maybe they're... What is... Oh, that's Elite Shravamsha, okay. I was gonna say, if that was Elite Ghulam, I was like... Or not Elite Ghulam, Elite Discus Thrower. You know what I'm talking about. These guys. What are they called? That doesn't matter. Discus Thrower works. Camels chasing after Shravamsha Riders. And you know what? Still could make Halb, actually, for Saracens, right? So if this cav pressure is too much, or he just doesn't want to deal with it, could go into Halb. Shravamsha raids left and right. Definitely a very frustrating unit to deal with, but Mr. Yo has the answers all the same. Viper's Trebs are where? Okay, they were maybe thinking of going over here to this TC, I think. And he's decided against that. And Viper just can't get the military numbers he needs. You'd think with cheaper military he'd be able to get there, but maybe instead of 40 on gold, he needs 40 on food. Has delayed any push for Mr. Yo at the same time, though. And has taken the Vil lead, so maybe that's still accounting for something. Castle going up in defense. The next places Viper wants to push is probably on this right side. And I think he scouted most of that, just has a camel chilling on that side. And now, I would say Yo's trickle-trebbing, but he has so much military here in defense. I'd be surprised if Viper can keep up this castle. I mean, he has 3 trebs as well. Mr. Yo can just dive these trebs. Mr. Yo can also play into Mameluke. So many options. Viper trying to wall in front of these trebs, but a little bit too late. Also can't get into the fight, taking a terrible fight. This castle is now getting ballistics. Just fletching on the castle. And I think Yo is going to be moving on to the winner's bracket. At the same time, Viper is raiding with Shrampsha, while the camels are distracted elsewhere. But this Cav Archer mass is so great for Viper. Castle still stays up for now. I think this Treb goes down. Oh, the villager goes down. He was about to repair the Treb. No, I think Castle goes down. A shot lands on that Treb, but Viper is out of stone. Buys 400 more to try to keep this up. And it goes down all the same. So now he's just stuck with 377 stone. And losing out on some gold. Okay, selling the stone back to make more camels so that he can stay in this. Shramsha are fighting another raid again, but Mr. Yo's been on top of it. And Viper's just had so much trouble making enough units. I don't know if, I guess Viper doesn't have handcart, and that's why his eco isn't as effective, it feels like. And he just hasn't had the military mass when he's taking these fights. Not having iron casting either. I think he's just forcing the issue too much. He's reluctant to give up map control, but I think he needs to, and that's finally gotten through his head. Okay, I'm being a little harsh, but you know what I mean. He's moving back. He's regrouping. Still only 3 stables as well. What does Mr. Yo have in comparison? 6 stables, and he moved on to camels far later than... Or cavalry far later than Viper. Camels are just trying to buy time, find new fights elsewhere. Viper can't get back through his buildings. And he's taking fights that I think aren't really even for him. Trying to get good surrounds, but Mr. Yo just takes better and better fights. Viper's hoping his camels are just better. I don't think they are. I mean, the Cav Archer numbers are slipping, though. So it is turning into camel versus camel, and the camels are cheaper. Okay, maybe Viper has a chance here still. He's only lost 1 castle, he's lost some map control. But I would say this is not where most of the resources are. They're mostly on the south side. Also, Viper was just a random trap over here. Actually, what camel is better? I don't know. I do not know. I think Vipers are slightly. Because they're cheaper now. I think in Castle Age, the Saracen ones are better. But if Yo ever finds himself floating resources, he can also switch into Mameluke. And Mameluke should just win against everything. Yeah, the bonus damage of the camels from Gujaras is pretty high, I believe. It's like 30 or 25 or 30% extra. Treb for Viper running away. Really weird that it was there in the first place, but... I mean, he had a hectic time just trying to recover. Now that he has iron casting, I think he's going to take much better fights as well. Trash War would be interesting. I think Saracens have the edge there, though. Viper sent some camels over to try to keep his Treb alive, I think. And the new castles here from Yo are going to be hard to push back against. But I'm hoping Viper still has enough confidence. He just needs to get up to 200 pop. If he can. It looks like he has the number of stables he needs now. He has his camels as upgraded as he can. Actually, what's the attack difference? 7 plus 4 versus 7 plus 2. You know, that might make the difference as well. Not getting full attack on these camels and just relying on the bonus damage instead. Oh, Frontier Guards gives him extra melee resistance. Is that +2? I can't remember. No, Gujaras do additional bonus damage, and there's no difference in that. Yeah, I think Frontier Guards is +4 to melee. So Viper's waiting for that to come in this back castle. And now he takes the fight. But what's the camel numbers? 53 versus 37? If he can have the camel separated, he's okay. But he's also losing villagers, hemorrhaging villagers. Is that a good fight for Viper? Doesn't look like it. But it's the fight he needs to take at this point in the game. And he might have the defender's advantage. But it doesn't look like it. And he calls it GG. Whoop. Well played to Mr. Yo. He looked shaky in some of those matches, but he came back from being 1 to 2. I don't really know where this one went wrong for Viper. I think it was just overinvesting. He was later to every single age, it felt like. And I think he's just not respecting the timings as much. He's not finding a way to redirect Yo's attention as much as some of the other top players are. But well played to both of them. I mean, both of them looked better than yesterday. Actually, no. Yo just looked really good yesterday. And game 1, he looked immaculate.